Hello, my name is Zahar Karetsky, and this is a special episode of Transitions Visions podcast, which is a podcast series about and for the sustainability transitions community. As I said, today is not an ordinary episode because it's a holiday special episode, so I decided to have a bit of fun. All year we've been deep diving into high theory and deep empirical topics, and it's time to really tackle the big questions, the real transition dilemmas. Namely, the questions from the 2019 STRN research agenda. And today, we will aim high and to tackle these fundamental questions compiled by key and most active transition scholars, I will drag out none other than ChatGPT itself. I have copy-pasted some of the open questions asked in the research agenda paper into ChatGPT and received some extensive answers. After some light editing of the answers, for ease of listening, I then used an AI voice generator Dorothy to voice these responses. For what you're about to hear, I simplified my own questions for the benefit of the flow of the interview. Some of the responses were interesting, some not so much, but you have a look and decide for yourself whether there are any gems to pick up on. In the end, believe it or not, we've discussed approaches and methodologies of dealing with changing political environments and sustainability transitions, stakeholder engagement, accelerating transitions, and also phase out of unsustainable systems. So, without further ado, please enjoy this festive episode. So I would like to immediately start by jumping into the first question. We witness a changing political environment in many parts of the world, such as economic protectionism and far-right nationalism. As a reaction to globalization, social inequality, migration, poverty, what can sustainability transitions research say about these political and societal macro developments? Will these developments reduce the chances of swift global action on sustainability, or will the mounting environmental pressures strengthen international collaborative efforts?
First, there is a risk of reduced global cooperation. Sustainability transitions research acknowledges that political movements emphasizing economic protectionism and nationalism may prioritize short-term economic interests over global collaboration for sustainability. These tendencies can result in reduced international cooperation on environmental issues. For example, research might explore cases where nationalist agendas led to a reluctance to participate in international agreements or weakened commitments to global environmental goals. On the other hand, sustainability transitions research suggests that mounting environmental pressure and the urgency of sustainability challenges may foster international collaboration as nations recognize the interconnected nature of environmental issues. For example, research could highlight instances where countries, despite political differences, come together in response to shared environmental threats, leading to collaborative initiatives and agreements. Public perception, influenced by political narratives, plays a crucial role too. Sustainability transitions research emphasizes that public awareness and advocacy can influence political agendas. If public pressure prioritizes sustainability, it may counterbalance political movements against global cooperation. Concretely, research might examine how public attitudes towards environmental issues influence the political will of governments, potentially leading to policies that support sustainability. Another way to look at it is by addressing underlying social issues. Sustainability transitions research recognizes the interdependence of social issues and environmental sustainability. Addressing underlying social challenges, such as inequality and poverty, is integral to creating a conducive environment for sustainable development. For example, research could explore how policies that address social issues contribute to creating a foundation for long-term sustainability, potentially mitigating the impact of political movements that prioritize narrow national interests. The adaptability of international institutions is similarly crucial. Sustainability transitions research suggests that institutions capable of adapting to changing political dynamics and promoting inclusive governance are more likely to facilitate global sustainability efforts. Concretely, research might analyze the effectiveness of international institutions in navigating geopolitical shifts and maintaining a focus on collaborative solutions to environmental challenges. Finally, understanding and navigating path dependencies is critical. Sustainability transitions research can explore how historical decisions and existing infrastructures influence the trajectory of sustainability initiatives, especially in the face of changing political environments. For example, research could investigate how entrenched systems, influenced by political ideologies, may resist transitions to more sustainable practices and technologies. So, while certain political movements may pose challenges, the urgency of environmental issues and the role of public awareness and advocacy present opportunities for strengthened international collaboration. The adaptability of institutions and efforts to address underlying social issues emerge as key factors in shaping the potential for swift global action on sustainability.
A question regarding the very core concept of the field. Sustainability as a concept is heavily contested. For example, on the grounds of its strong normativity and that it's driven by multiple interpretations, or on the grounds that its desirable characteristics change over time and space. How to continue to work on sustainability transitions while acknowledging these contestations by other actors?
This requires a nuanced and reflexive approach. Here are key strategies. First, transdisciplinary engagement. Foster transdisciplinary research approaches that bring together diverse perspectives and expertise. By involving researchers, practitioners, policymakers, and communities from different disciplines, there is an opportunity to navigate the contested nature of sustainability through collective dialogue and knowledge integration. For example, research initiatives could establish collaborative platforms where scientists, social scientists, ethicists, and stakeholders engage in joint discussions to address diverse perspectives on sustainability challenges. Then, critical reflection on normativity. Encourage critical reflection on the normative nature of sustainability. Researchers should acknowledge and explicitly discuss the underlying values, assumptions, and ethical considerations shaping their work. This reflexivity helps to recognize and navigate the contested aspects of sustainability. For example, research publications and projects can include sections or discussions dedicated to addressing the normative foundations of sustainability concepts, making transparent the philosophical underpinnings that may influence interpretations. Third, conduct contextualized analyses that recognize the spatial and temporal differentiation of sustainability challenges. Researchers should avoid universalizing sustainability solutions and instead explore how desirable characteristics change over time and across diverse geographical contexts. For example, research could investigate how local communities perceive and prioritize sustainability goals, considering cultural, economic, and ecological contexts. Fourth, integrate systematic assessments of trade-offs and conflicts associated with sustainability transitions. Researchers should explicitly explore potential conflicts between different dimensions of sustainability, such as those arising from competing environmental, social, and economic goals. Concretely, research projects could include comprehensive impact assessments that weigh the trade-offs between, for instance, greenhouse gas emissions and biodiversity in the case of biofuel production. Next, actively include diverse stakeholders in the research process. By engaging with policymakers, industry representatives, civil society, and local communities, researchers can gain insights into contested perspectives and foster collaborative problem-solving. For example, Research workshops or forums could be organized to bring together stakeholders with conflicting views on sustainability issues, encouraging open dialogue and the identification of common ground. Then, develop effective communication strategies that acknowledge and address contestations surrounding sustainability. Researchers should communicate findings in a way that is accessible, transparent, and open to discussion, recognizing the potential for differing interpretations. For example, research publications could include clear sections that outline potential controversies, uncertainties, and divergent perspectives, inviting readers to critically engage with the material. Lastly, utilize scenario planning and futures thinking to explore alternative visions of sustainability. Researchers can employ methods that account for different possible futures, considering how evolving contexts may shape the contested nature of sustainability. Concretely, research projects could incorporate scenario building workshops involving stakeholders to explore diverse futures and their implications for sustainability transitions.
Still on the topic of contestation, what is your political and epistemological stance? Should researchers in the field be actively a part of transition initiatives and apply ideas of transitions management in pilots, living labs, and other action research? Or does this distort too much our scientific work and bias the results?
There are several perspectives to consider here. A perspective of engagement for societal impact. From this stance, researchers in the field should actively engage in transition initiatives and apply transitions management in real-world settings. This political stance argues that scholars have a responsibility to contribute their expertise to address pressing sustainability challenges. By actively participating in transition initiatives, researchers can bridge the gap between academia and practice, translating theoretical insights into actionable strategies for societal impact. Then, a co-creation of knowledge perspective. Emphasizing a participatory approach, this stance advocates for collaborative efforts between researchers, practitioners, and communities. By being part of transition initiatives, researchers can co-create knowledge, ensuring that the insights generated are contextually relevant, inclusive, and aligned with the diverse needs of stakeholders. This approach fosters a sense of shared ownership and enhances the applicability of research outcomes. Then there's also the perspective of advocacy for transformative change. Taking an advocacy stance, researchers can use their positions to champion transformative change. By actively participating in transition initiatives, scholars can contribute to policy discussions, influence decision-making processes, and advocate for systemic shifts towards sustainability. This political stance aligns with the view that researchers have a role in fostering positive societal transformations. Those were political considerations, now for the epistemological ones. Direct engagement of transition scholars is part of experiential learning and reflexivity. This epistemological stance argues for the value of experiential learning and reflexivity. Researchers engaging in transition initiatives gain first-hand experiences that enrich their understanding of the complexities involved. Actively participating in pilots, living labs, and action research provides researchers with insights that might be challenging to capture through traditional academic methods alone. Then there is also a perspective of transdisciplinarity and contextual embeddedness. Acknowledging the transdisciplinary nature of sustainability transitions, this stance emphasizes the importance of contextual embeddedness. Researchers should work collaboratively across disciplines and immerse themselves in real-world contexts to appreciate the intricacies of transition processes. By actively participating in initiatives, scholars can contribute to the integration of diverse knowledge systems. Finally, there is value in pragmatic application of theories. This stance emphasizes the pragmatic application of transition theories. Researchers actively involved in transition initiatives can test and refine theoretical frameworks in real-world settings. This iterative process not only validates academic theories, but also enhances their practical utility. It encourages a dynamic relationship between theory and practice, fostering continuous learning. So, in summary, a political stance advocating for researchers' active involvement in transition initiatives aligns with the belief in the societal responsibility of scholars and their potential to drive positive change. The epistemological stance underscores the value of experiential learning, transdisciplinarity, and the pragmatic application of theories. Together, these stances support the idea that researchers can meaningfully contribute to sustainability transitions by actively participating in on-the-ground initiatives and applying the principles of transitions management.
One of the key questions in the field is how to accelerate sustainability transitions and how can transitions research support this. How would you respond to that?
To accelerate sustainability transitions, there is a number of strategies transition researchers can adopt. Identifying key drivers is one. Transition researchers can focus on identifying the key drivers that have historically led to rapid sustainability transitions. This involves studying cases where significant progress has been made, such as the swift adoption of solar energy in certain regions or the successful integration of sustainable agricultural practices. For example, research might highlight how supportive policy frameworks and public awareness campaigns played a crucial role in the rapid adoption of electric vehicles in certain urban areas. Understanding systemic barriers can be another strategy. Investigate and analyze systemic barriers that impede the acceleration of sustainability transitions. This includes understanding path dependencies, vested interests, and regulatory hurdles that slow down the shift toward more sustainable practices. For example, research could explore the challenges faced by traditional energy systems in embracing decentralized, renewable energy sources, emphasizing the need to address regulatory and infrastructural barriers. Then, promoting collaborative solutions. Encourage interdisciplinary collaboration to address the multifaceted nature of sustainability transitions. Collaboration between researchers from diverse fields, such as economics, sociology, and environmental science, can offer comprehensive insights into the complex dynamics at play. For example, collaborative research projects might analyze the intersection of technological innovations, policy frameworks, and societal behaviors to identify synergies that can expedite transitions. Learning from setbacks. Analyze cases where sustainability transitions face setbacks or delays. Understanding the reasons behind challenges and failures provides valuable lessons for future strategies. Concretely, research could delve into instances where promising green technologies failed to gain traction due to market dynamics, helping researchers develop strategies to overcome similar obstacles. Lastly, conduct policy recommendations and evaluation. Provide evidence-based policy recommendations for accelerating sustainability transitions. Researchers can actively engage with policymakers to advocate for effective policies and contribute to the evaluation of existing ones. For example, research findings might inform policymakers about the impact of financial incentives on the adoption of sustainable practices in agriculture, leading to the development of more targeted and effective policies. By focusing on these strategies, transition researchers can contribute to the acceleration of sustainability transitions by identifying actionable insights, promoting collaboration, and informing policy decisions.
A related question: the social and environmental problems that require transitions are often pervasive in the sense that they affect many different sectors. transition studies are beginning to widen their scope from focusing on single systems to multi-sector transitions and the interactions of various systems. How can transitions research address and conceptualize sustainability transitions across systems?
This requires a comprehensive and integrative approach in research. Here are key ways research can conceptualize and accelerate innovations that span different socio-technical systems. 1. Systems thinking and integration. Embrace systems thinking to understand the interconnectedness of various sectors. Research should move beyond siloed approaches and adopt a holistic perspective that considers the interdependencies, feedback loops, and cascading effects across different systems. For example, research might investigate how changes in energy systems impact water availability, and how this, in turn, affects agricultural practices and food production. Identifying cross-sectoral synergies is another route. One could explore opportunities for cross-sectoral synergies where innovations in one sector can positively influence others. Understanding these synergies can inform strategies for accelerating transitions across interconnected systems. Concretely, research could analyze how advancements in sustainable transportation technologies not only reduce carbon emissions, but also contribute to improvements in air quality and public health. Then, thirdly, focusing on governance and policy integration. One can examine governance structures and policies that facilitate integrated approaches to sustainability transitions. Effective coordination and collaboration between governmental bodies responsible for different sectors are essential for fostering innovations that span socio-technical systems. For example, research might assess the success of integrated policy frameworks that address both energy and transportation sectors, promoting electric vehicle adoption and renewable energy use. One may also investigate the role of diverse stakeholders in fostering innovations across interconnected systems. Collaboration between industries, academia, civil society, and policymakers is crucial for addressing complex challenges that cut across multiple sectors. For example, research could explore successful case studies where collaborative initiatives brought together stakeholders from energy, health, and transportation to implement sustainable urban planning projects. Next, transitions experiments and pilots are some of the key research strategies. A project may promote transitions experiments and pilot projects that explicitly address the interconnectedness of systems. These experiments allow for the testing of innovations in real-world settings and provide insights into their potential cross-sectoral impacts. For example, research might evaluate the outcomes of a pilot project that integrates renewable energy solutions with smart water management and sustainable agriculture practices in a specific region. Next, innovative financing mechanisms. This focuses on exploring innovative financing mechanisms that support cross-sectoral innovations. Funding models that encourage collaboration and investment across different systems can accelerate the development and implementation of sustainable solutions. Concretely, research could examine the effectiveness of green finance initiatives that fund projects spanning energy, water, and agriculture to achieve broader sustainability goals. Lastly, learning from successes and failures. One can analyze both successful and unsuccessful attempts at cross-sectoral transitions to extract lessons learned. Understanding the factors that contribute to success or failure can inform future strategies and policies. For example, research might investigate cases where efforts to integrate renewable energy into existing urban infrastructure faced challenges due to regulatory barriers, leading to recommendations for overcoming such hurdles in future projects. By addressing these aspects, researchers can contribute to a more holistic understanding of the challenges and opportunities associated with multi-sector transitions and accelerate innovations that span different socio-technical systems.
Okay, we talked about multiple sectors and multiple systems. Now I want to ask about multiple stakeholders. In active participation that you've advocated for in the beginning of our interview, what to do with the fact that there are multiple actors involved? Local stakeholders, top-down policymaking, incumbent actors. How should research on sustainability transitions balance engagement with these actors?
Balancing engagement with these types of actors is crucial for effective research on sustainability transitions. Achieving this balance requires a nuanced approach that recognizes the diversity of stakeholders and their roles in the transition process. One can think of 3 takes on this issue: transdisciplinary collaboration, adaptive governance, and ethics. First, transition scholars could foster transdisciplinary collaboration that integrates insights from local initiatives, policymaking, and incumbent actors. For example, facilitate platforms for dialogue where diverse stakeholders can collectively address sustainability challenges. From the adaptive governance perspective, one could advocate for adaptive governance structures that enable flexibility and responsiveness to the evolving needs of all actors. For example, research and recommend governance models that encourage continuous collaboration and adaptation. Finally, ethical considerations. One could prioritize ethical considerations in engagement with all actors, ensuring fairness, inclusivity, and social justice. For example, maintaining transparency in research processes and decision-making could build trust among stakeholders.
A final question that I want to ask relates to the next phase of transitions, including the phase out of mature, unsustainable technologies and industries. There are many questions here. How can this decline be managed in a way that addresses social and economic sustainability, as well as reducing environmental impacts? And how can this decline be accelerated? How should society reconfigure existing socio-technical systems? Which regime rules should be abandoned and which maintained?
That is a complex challenge, but research in sustainability transitions provides insights into strategies for managing decline, accelerating the transition, and reconfiguring existing socio-technical systems. Here are key considerations. First, the Just Transition Framework. Adopt a just transition framework that prioritizes the well-being of workers and communities affected by the decline of unsustainable technologies. Research should explore policies and practices that support job retraining, creation of new employment opportunities, and social safety nets. For example, research might assess the effectiveness of programs that facilitate the transition of coal workers to jobs in renewable energy sectors, ensuring a fair and equitable process. Secondly, policy instruments for phasing out. Projects may evaluate policy instruments that facilitate the phase-out of unsustainable technologies. Research should explore regulatory mechanisms, economic incentives, and market-based approaches that encourage the retirement of outdated technologies while fostering the adoption of sustainable alternatives. For example, research could analyze the impact of feed-in tariffs or carbon pricing on the acceleration of renewable energy adoption and the decline of fossil fuel-based energy sources. Next, again, innovative financing for transition. Explore innovative financing models to support the transition away from unsustainable technologies. Research should assess the effectiveness of green finance mechanisms, public-private partnerships, and investment incentives in expediting the decline of environmentally harmful industries. Concretely, research might investigate the role of impact investing in funding projects that facilitate the decommissioning of outdated facilities and promote the development of sustainable alternatives. Community engagement and empowerment is another consideration for research on decline and reconfiguration. Have research projects emphasize community engagement and empowerment in the transition process. Research should examine strategies for involving local communities in decision-making, ensuring their concerns are addressed, and empowering them to actively participate in the development of new socio-technical systems. For example, research could highlight successful cases where communities played a key role in shaping the transition, leading to the establishment of community-owned renewable energy projects. It is then also key to investigate mechanisms for redistributing resources from declining industries to emerging sustainable sectors. Research should explore policies that reallocate investments, subsidies, and infrastructure development to support the growth of green technologies and industries. For example, research might assess government initiatives that repurpose subsidies from fossil fuel industries to fund research and development in renewable energy. Transition research should also advocate for adaptive governance structures that facilitate the reconfiguration of socio-technical systems. Research should examine the role of flexible and inclusive governance mechanisms in navigating the complexities of system reconfiguration. Concretely, research could analyze the effectiveness of collaborative governance models that involve diverse stakeholders in decision-making processes related to the decline of unsustainable technologies. Finally, assessing regime rules. It is key to conduct a thorough assessment of existing regime rules to identify those that hinder the transition and should be abandoned, as well as those that support sustainability and should be maintained. Research should explore the socio-political dynamics influencing rule changes and their implications. For example, research might investigate cases where regulatory frameworks were adapted to accommodate the integration of distributed renewable energy sources into existing power grids, leading to a more resilient and sustainable energy system. In summary, managing the decline of unsustainable technologies requires a holistic approach that considers social, economic, and environmental dimensions. Researchers can contribute by examining just transition frameworks, evaluating policy instruments, exploring innovative financing, emphasizing community engagement, advocating for resource redistribution, promoting adaptive governance, and assessing and modifying regime rules to support sustainability transitions. By addressing these aspects, society can navigate the decline of mature technologies towards more sustainable alternatives.
And I hope you're right. This has been ChatGPT sharing some insights on the pressing questions in the 2019 STRN research agenda. Well, what can I say? Take it for what it's worth. Thank you for listening and happy holidays.